I figured out why I've always said, I'm never doing this again. And then 2 weeks later, I'm doing it again. I thought I lacked discipline, but I realized that wasn't the case. So, how this all came about. I was in Costa Rica for 3 weeks. I was eating bread left and right, scarfing that bitch down. It started with like getting a loaf every now and then when I was near Auto Mercado. And then we went to Puerto Viejo, and this store had bread, just like infinite bread, if you ask me. And my mistake was seeing it. But I started off with one loaf, and then by the end of the 3 weeks, I was eating two loaves. And when I say loaves, hold on, let me put this here so I can show you. When I say loaf, it was like this big, and maybe like this thick. So it wasn't like no big ass loaf, but it was pretty big. And on top of this, I was having banana bread too, vegan banana bread, and I was just chopping away. And yeah, towards the end of the 3 weeks, I was I felt so constipated. I was like, I can't do this no more. I can't eat bread no more. So I was in a very tender emotional state. I was feeling sick. I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling addicted. And so I made the decision in the moment, when I get back to the States, I'm done with bread. I ain't going back. And that was truly how I felt. I was like, I'm 100% sure of my decision. Then I got back to the States, and Sequoia talking about she might get a waffle, and I felt like I was about to fold. Bro, we was like, what, 2 days in? So then, of course, I'm like, well, what the fuck? I made this decision. I felt whole in it. Like, what? Why do I feel like I'm getting ready to fold? Day 2. What's going on? Why am I lying to myself? Like, why do I always make these commitments, and then, shortly into the commitment, I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I was getting sick of that cycle. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I figured it out. After much observation, I realized I was making decisions in emotional states of distress. I was making decisions, and based off my state of being right then and there, yes, I felt 100% committed to, whatever I was saying because of how I felt in that moment. And since it was a state of distress, most of what I was perceiving in that moment was illusion. It was illusions that I was like 100% in. Like, I was identified as fuck, forgot who I was and everything. So I was making decisions based off that state of being. But then once I, took some deep breaths, settled down, started feeling better. Oh, they're back. Damn, let me back up. I feel a little close. Okay. I forget exactly where I was. But essentially, I had returned to a state of being that was my norm. And then I was like, fuck, why did I commit to this? Why did I do this? I don't want to do this. Because I wasn't really making decisions based on reality. It was like an illusion. And I was so caught up in it that I thought it was reality, and then made decisions based off that illusory point in time. And yeah, that was like the cycle that I was going through again and again and again. And I didn't realize it until I was 30 years old. No, let me stop. You could think about it too. Like, I remember when I used to drink, I'd be like, I'm never drinking again. Like, you feel like such shit. Like, your stomach hurts, your head hurts. Like, I felt like everything I tried to eat hurt. And then, like, you just don't feel yourself. And then, a week or two goes by, and there's like a party going on, all your friends are going, and you're like, why did I say I wasn't going to do this again? Like, now that, you're back to your norm and feeling good. Man, I don't know how many times I said I wasn't drinking and then drink again. One day it stuck though. I don't know how many years I haven't been drinking anymore. Like I don't track it anymore because I just know I'm never drinking again. But you get my point, right? I was making permanent decisions on temporary emotional states. Then when my body recovered, my emotional state settled, that certainty behind my decision disappeared, even though nothing but my emotional state changed. Damn, the mosquitoes are already trying to get me. I'm gonna get out of here. You try to listen to me? What you doing out here? So I'm gonna look at my notes here because y'all trying to remember everything for these videos, like off the dome, is just too much. So I'm gonna look at my fucking phone. But my new perspective became, instead of I'm never eating blank again, like I said, bread. So I said I was never going to eat bread again. And after that circumstance in Costa Rica, but then I realized I said bread. But then I realized I had meant gluten. But I was saying bread. And so then when I got back, I was like, oh shit. Like, do you know how much like gluten is in everything bready? I was like, bro, I wasn't really ready to do all that. But I made that commitment in that emotional state. Not even realizing what I was committing to, because I didn't even think about how many things that I eat have gluten in it. So then I was like, fuck, okay. But I obviously didn't like that decision. So I decided to scrap that, right? Because I was like, this ain't gonna work. I'm already feeling more emotional distress when my whole point was to get out of emotional distress. So instead of doing that, I decided, instead of saying I'm never going to eat something again, I started asking, like, what is my body saying today? I'm trying to stay more in the now instead of make decisions in the future when I just don't know what's gonna happen, you know? Like making a decision for 2 weeks from now when I have no idea what my emotional state is gonna be like, my environment, any of that. It was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I trying to do that? That's not for me. I want to make decisions in the now. So instead I started asking, like, what is my body telling me today? Instead of like doing like control and like restrict, I'm trying to get into this mindset of adapt. Like, let's adapt. Like, all right, I wanted to cut out bread for a reason because it's not making me feel good. So let me cut out bread. Let's start with that. And then let's work our way up to the other things that have whatever in it that I don't want to eat because they hurt my stomach, this, that, and the third. So looking for balance, like I've been trying to say I've been saying this for like months now, but I don't know what the fuck balance is, so it's going to take me a while to figure it out. But I'm looking for balance, and I think I can find that more if I adapt more instead of being so like stuck. Like, I said I was going to do this, and despite things changing around me. So I feel like this mindset allows me to learn, rather than, I felt like the other one was just like do or fail. And this one is like, do, adapt, learn, change, like rinse and repeat, which I feel like is just better for my mental state of being than what I was doing before. And it has more of a focus on listening to, it has more of a focus on listening to my body rather than listening to the thoughts that really don't know what the fuck they talking about. But I'm so used to listening to them that I forget, like, they don't know anything. But like, I'm learning that. So, is that Sequoia? Sequoia? Felt like I saw her. Y'all should be stalking me. Should be so curious about what I'm doing. So the moral of the story is don't make forever decisions on temporary emotional states. Instead, listen to the body and over time allow preferences to evolve. Sometimes I forget that I'm an animal and that I am evolving. I am adapting. I'm not just this static being that never changes. So I feel like if I keep that in mind, life just might get easier. Much love. Happy healing.